And because I remember what it was like to watch my mother, dying of cancer, have to argue with insurance companies about whether or not they were going to pay her claims, I will stop insurance companies from discriminating against those who are sick and need care the most. This is personal for me. I will never forget that. I will never forget her lying in a hospital bed. I love you, Beck. I will never forget her arguing with those insurance companies, and we are going to make sure that that doesn't happen again, because I know what it's like to see a loved one suffer, not just because they're sick, but because of a broken health care system. It's wrong. It's not who we are, and we're going to put an end to it. Change means having a vice president who spent his career working to improve women's lives. You know, people forget that Joe Biden wrote the Violence Against Women's Act so that we finally treat domestic violence like the heinous crime it is. And women, in case you're wondering, John McCain voted against that legislation. As someone who raised small kids on his own and took the train home every night from Washington to Delaware to tuck those kids into bed, Joe Biden also knows firsthand what it means to juggle work and family. And you won't find a stronger champion for a woman's right to choose than Joe Biden. So I'm proud to have him by my side in this campaign. Finally, change means building an economy that rewards work, creates jobs that can raise a family, gives each of us a chance to get ahead. Let me tell you, when it comes to economic policies that we'll pursue, Senator McCain and I couldn't be more different. John McCain voted 19 times against raising the minimum wage. I will raise it. John McCain voted against Head Start, against hiring new teachers, against more Pell Grants. I'll invest in early childhood education. I will recruit an army of new teachers, and I will provide a $4,000 tuition credit to make college affordable for anyone who wants to go. John McCain wants to give tax breaks to oil companies and companies that ship jobs overseas. I want to give you 95% of all working families a tax break and create jobs by giving tax breaks to companies that are investing here in the United States. And I want to make sure that we're investing in a new renewable energy economy in solar and wind and biodiesel, putting millions of people back to work and saving our planet in the process. Don't be fooled by the tired old attacks of my opponents. You know, he doesn't want you to know this, but under my tax plan, tax rates will actually be lower than they were under Ronald Reagan. If you make less than $250,000 a year, you will not see your taxes increase one dime, not one dime. In fact, I offer 3 times the tax relief for middle-class families as Senator McCain does, because in an economy like this, the last thing we should do is raise taxes on the middle class. And I know there are a lot of young people here, but and you may not be thinking about this right now, but I will soon be qualifying for my AARP card, so I want to protect Social Security. John McCain's talked about privatizing Social Security. Imagine if you had some of your Social Security money in the stock market right now, how you'd be feeling about the prospects of your retirement. Without Social Security, half of elderly women would be living in poverty. Half. But if my opponent had his way, millions of Americans would have had their Social Security tied to the stock market this week. Millions would have watched as the market tumbled and their nest egg disappeared before their eyes. Well, let's be clear. When I'm president, we are not going to gamble with Social Security. We're not going to gamble with your ability to retire with dignity after a lifetime of hard work. We're going to strengthen and protect Social Security so families can count on it today, tomorrow, always. That's my commitment as president. So let me say this, Miami. At this defining moment, the stakes couldn't be higher. The choices couldn't be clearer. But we still know that bringing the change that we need is not going to be easy. We know that we're up against powerful entrenched interests in Washington. They will say anything and they will do anything and they will fight with everything they've got to keep things just the way they are. But I think we're up for the challenge. We always have been. That's why I'm standing here today, because of what my mother and my grandmother did for me, because of their hard work and sacrifice and their unflagging love. That's why all of us are here today, because of all our parents and our grandparents, but especially all the women who came before us, who reached out for the ballot, who raised families, who traveled those lonely roads to be the first ones in the boardrooms and the courtrooms and the battlefields and the factory floors. Women like my friend Hillary Clinton, who put those 18 million cracks in that glass ceiling so that my daughters and all our sons and daughters could dream a little bigger, reach a little higher. Women like Claire McCaskill, women like Debbie. Now it's all of our turns to make those same sacrifices so the next generation doesn't have to. Our turn to open the doors of opportunity that our daughters and our granddaughters will one day walk through. Our turn to fulfill the promise of this great nation, that each of us, no matter what our background or where we came from, each of us has the chance to make it if we try. That's what I think about. That's what I think about on the campaign trail, but it's also what I think about when I get a chance to tuck my girls in at night. How badly I want them and all of our daughters to have no limits to their dreams, no obstacles to their achievement, no goals beyond their reach. How I want them to have opportunities that their mothers and their grandmothers never could have imagined. And I hope you'll join me. I hope you'll walk with me. I hope you want to turn the page with me on the failed policies of the past. And if you'll make that commitment, if you'll knock on doors, if you'll call your friends, if you will get out on the streets and register voters and talk to people and get in arguments with them and move them and inspire them, then I promise you this: if you give me your vote on November 4th, then together we won't just win Florida, we will win the general election, and you and I together, we're going to change the country and we're going to change the world. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you.